Justin, you spent years building, physically constructing the spaces people inhabit. What was the most profound frustration you have experienced in that hands-on building process that ultimately led you to believe the industry needed something fundamentally different, something like the membranes you now champion?
What a doozy to open with.
Yeah. That's like
And full disclosure, we did not tell Justin that we were going to answer this question, but I knew that the question was going to be answered.
That's
asked.
a lot in that.
I know, dude. Like, but it also it encompasses everything that you've done probably in the last, 20, 30 years of your building journey.
So we're going to get to that answer, I think, over the course of this podcast episode. Could you maybe just start off by telling people who you are?
Yeah, so I started tinkering in my downstairs shed at Mum's.
At the age of 12, I believe.
Yeah, so my
stealing your brother's tools?
So my older brother, 5 years older, started a carpentry and joinery apprenticeship at the time with the state government when they used to build their own homes. Just building furniture for Mum to put in, the lounge room and that sort of thing. I used to love working with hand tools, and I used to steal my brother's. Yeah, he didn't like it too much because he was 5 years older, so we were always fighting. But and then he went off and worked in a joinery shop, and I used to work with him for his boss every single school holiday from high school.
What were you like at school? Were you like academic at school?
I guess I did okay.
Yeah.
Had quite a few outstanding achievements, if they're still called that these days.
Sure.
Was it weird that you went into a trade? Were you sort of
I think that's what I was getting at.
Are you earmarked as like the academic, you should be going to uni type?
I always thought that my dad would have liked that and was a little bit disappointed. He's definitely not now. Maybe I just thought that. I never asked him, but I did think that he was a little bit disappointed that I didn't further my education. Because
at tertiary level?
Yeah, and into uni because I had quite good grades. My brother did as well, and he left at grade 10. I left at grade 10 and went into a trade. And I guess from that, we've both been successful in our own way, I guess.
Do you know what's really interesting about that comment is there is still this kind of stigma around that you are intelligent or you're less intelligent if you choose a trade over tertiary education. I feel it's changing a bit now, but
I think COVID helped because people saw during COVID that like they're still working, they're earning very good money, their job is safe.
I guess the point I'm trying to make is that like even like watching you sort of tell that story just then, there's this, I guess almost a justification of, all right, well, I dropped out of school and then maybe Dad wasn't as, proud of me for maybe not finishing school and then going to university. Like there's actually nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's such a small moment in our life where in your late teens, early 20s of when you decide to either stay at school and go to university or not. That's 4 or 5 years of your life out of however many years. Such a small part that everyone focuses so much on, and they judge you on the decisions that you make then.
And you're like 18, 19 too.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, digressing.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know how you judge success. If it's via financial success, well, it's a good path to go down. I bought my first house at 21.
Yeah, wow.
I bought a brand new car when I was 18.
Yeah.
There's all those things. Obviously, with the bank, but I was able to, and I saved a lot.
I imagine a 21-year-old at the moment would that's
borderline
not impossible unless mum and daddy chop you out.
Yeah. We were a bit behind. Obviously, I'm from Tasmania and from Hobart, and we were a bit
Scars
behind.
healed well.
Yeah. My wife's hasn't. Yeah. Actually, she had an operation on her neck, but it's a good joke. We were really our property market. We were, no one knew about Tasmania, and it was only until about 2004, 2005 the property market exploded.
Yeah.
So it opened up to mainland Australia, and rentals were bought everywhere.
I love Hobart. I think it's the most untapped place in Australia.
Oh, Tassie's, I've been down to Tassie probably 3 or 4 times this year, and
great whiskey.
It's amazing.
Great food, great people. People just love it.
It's freezing down there. It's
nuts.
It's 1 or 2 degrees cooler than Melbourne.
Yeah, but it's not. It's a different cold. It's not. It's like a nice cold. It's a cold you can still walk around in and during the day. Where you come to Melbourne, it's windy, it's rainy, it's blowy. Yeah. Like it's like this nice. You put your jacket on and go for a walk.
A really nice connection with nature there. But look, so 12 years old, you start tinkering, and then in year 10, so 15, 16, you started your carpentry apprenticeship.
Yeah, so I started in major construction. So I started with a really big commercial builder. It was Fletcher Construction.
Do you remember your first day on the job site?
it was scary being on a major construction site back there. We had like Favco cranes, we call them tower cranes, and our labourers used to drive them. So the labourers employed by the company were crane drivers, and they were open ticket scaffolders. They did everything. But like used to call that greasing the apprentice. Like it was rife. They'd tape up apprentices in wheelbarrows and wheel them out into the mall in the city, and hooked up one of the apprentices. My apprentice was my age.
I'm laughing.
And they hooked him up from his nail belt with the crane. Like they've just brought it down. And then the other labourers hooked him up, and then they've lifted him like 30 centimetres off the ground and went to morning tea.
I don't know why I still find it funny. Like I've got a sixth sense of humour, and it's not okay.
It's not okay. I mean, I guess it's amusing, but like, I guess that's traumatic.
It's like, do you still play with your apprentice? Like, go get me the left-hand hammer or left-hand screwdriver. Do you play the game of
I don't have time for that anymore, mate.
No, I used to. And
like that's harmless fun.
Yeah, of course. But that's like when you can actually physically hurt someone, it's not okay.
Yeah, I think physically and mentally as well. I mean, there's a mental health's a big thing these days.
It is, yeah.
Digressing a little bit. So, construction, and you're in construction for 25 years.
Yeah, so I started my carpentry and joinery apprenticeship. We're lucky enough to have both.
Yeah.
So I qualified in both areas.
I feel like joinery probably like suit your personality, like that sort of real fine detail.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Obviously going back to the furniture when I was 13. And, that was 1995 I started.
Great year, 95. Carlton won their last grand final. We're still holding on to it.
Yes, I stayed there for quite a while, but I didn't like it.
You didn't like building?
I didn't like major construction. I didn't like the personalities back then on site. There was thefts of tools at lunchtime. All that sort of dynamic, and there was some pretty brutal type of people on site in those major jobs, and I didn't like it. I got my trade and worked with that company for a while, another year, and then got my marching orders and thought, okay, so I got my ABN.
Yep.
And gave him a notice. I had 3 months' notice.
Yeah.
And I said, no, I've got a job, I'm leaving. That was within 5 days. And I turned back up on that same site for one of the subcontractors to our principal and started working on contract, and it was like, yes, it was the best.
So you can now dictate what you wanted and push around.
Yeah, it's like
I'm the boss
they've
now.
sacked me, and then I turned back up on their site on earning heaps more money as a contractor. I didn't stay there that long, it was just a gap, and then I got a contracting job with a really fastidious residential builder.
Yeah.
Really pushing the boundaries. That was a long time ago.
Pushing the boundaries in what way?
Using alternate products. Not alternate as we look at it today, but obviously we're talking about double glazed windows, thermally broken aluminium frames.
And we're going back, what?
As 2002.
Yeah. So, I mean, that stuff back then is pretty innovative. I mean, it's not innovative now, but like in
he was looked at as nuts.
Yeah.
Just the things we were doing with insulation.
But how did you read on this? Because back then there was not, like, the internet was developing. Like, where were you resourcing? Like, the encyclopedia? Like, that's...
Well, obviously this came from the guy I worked for, and he was innovative.
European?
No.
Really?
But the people we associated with had products that were innovative.
Yeah.
And they were doing a lot of research outside of Australia, and they were doing a lot of trips outside of Australia, especially in the glazing space. Yeah, it was that sort of got my interest, and realised that, well, hey, it actually makes a difference. This insulation and double glazed windows. He was looked at as nuts.
Yeah.
Absolutely nuts. Why would you pay 4 times the price for a window, sometimes 5 times the price, when I can just get it for this price? Like,
the crazy
what's the difference?
It's only one extra layer of glass. Most of these units still fit too light, like...
Yeah.
So I don't understand why it was ever 4 times the amount when it's just like we're just adding an extra bit of glass.
Well, I mean, it is now.
Yeah.
It's like, probably not even double, but yeah.
It's like 3%.
It was a premium.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was great. I essentially did my apprenticeship again with him.
Yeah. And would you say that this builder was creating the market back then, or was there demand for it?
I don't think so. He was a bit of a closed shop sort of a guy. Did his thing, and there was no social media or anything back then.
Yeah.
Mobile phones were...
MySpace, Justin would have been his top friend on MySpace.
I'm surprised you know what MySpace is, man.
Yeah, so... But yeah, I guess, it was time to move on from him. I stayed with him for like 5 years and learnt a massive amount. And my brother worked for him together. So we worked with my brother for that time. So yeah, it was great working with him. His nickname on site was the Clockmaker. You know, he'd always get ribbed about, oh, you know, we're not building clocks.
Yeah,
because he's there, you know, doing his framing. And, you know, it's like, it doesn't need to be that neat.
Yeah, interesting.
We're not building them.
So how does that go with you now? Because you're such a perfectionist.
I want to get
That's
to that.
a long story.
I want to get to that, but I just kind of want to fill in a couple of other gaps because I just want to put some context in because obviously we're all in the high performance space now, right? And and just for context, I really moved into this space about 2018. But you built a true 9-star home. Is that right?
Yes.
Way back when?
Yes, that was, I think, 2008. I think we started design.
When the current code required what?
Were there even 5-star back then? I don't think it was. There wasn't 5-star. There wasn't anything.
So there was really there wasn't as many external forces back then, other than your pure interest.
Client driven.
Yeah. And were you the client?
No.
Okay.
No. So that was client driven.
Client driven.
From a scientist.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
He wasn't a building scientist. He was a marine scientist.
Yeah.
But yeah, driven by
critical thinking. Yeah.
Do
you still talk to that client now?
Yes.
Okay. And what's the lived-in experience in that home now?
Oh, they love it.
Yeah, interesting.
I'd love to chat to them.
So
Me too.
It's a full solar passive design.
Yep.
I think it was really early that they said that they thought about a heat exchanger.
Wow.
And what year was this?
So they moved 2010. I think they moved in.
Yeah.
They said that's the one thing that they would change is to put a heat exchanger because that building was 3 air changers.
Wow. Okay.
So that was we were playing with membranes back then, so that had a sealing membrane.
Yeah.
Because we were concerned about moisture migration through the structure.
An intelligent membrane internally?
No, we didn't have any.
Just like a cardboard or something?
Problematic. So we used silver foil at that time.
Well,
so that's a problem on another level.
I mean, for context though, I mean, like, it was completely acceptable back then. We didn't really know any.
Have you ever tested it? Have you ever actually cut open?
There's nothing wrong with it. That has been looked at, and they vent the house out. They manage the house, so it is okay. But it can be a problem in summer.
Okay.
And I think that building back then, it's a raftered roof, and I think it had blanket on the roof actually.
Okay. Cold roof or hot roof? Warm roof?
Well, that's an interesting conversation in itself.
Yeah, it is.
That's a whole other...
Hot roof, the structure's insulated.
Well, Tim, that's depending on the Australian version or European way when we talk about it.
Yeah,
cold roof.
Anyway, that's...
It's
a cathedral roof. It's a cathedral roof.
Okay, cool.
So I think the next project after that, we started bringing in Class 4 vapor permeable membrane for the roof. So that was after that. So we started bringing it in.
That's still a long time ago, though. Like,
yes, then now I'm the crazy guy.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks I'm mad.
Do they anymore, though?
No, because I think now, he was actually onto something back then.
Yeah.
A mad scientist.
Yeah.
But
no, maybe there's just more people that are crazy around you now. You're just attracting the crazies.
Yeah, probably. I guess it was the first true 9-star building. It had air tightness.
Yeah.
It had thermally double glazed windows. I built a custom curtain wall.
Right.
So we glued double glazed low E panes onto the whole facade of the front of the building. So the frame was insulated by the glass.
Wow.
It's like boat building.
Did you vacuum? How did you make the space in double glaze then?
It's boat building. You're putting glazing a boat. It's the same process.
And how did you then double glaze it to make that airspace?
You get double glazed units. They just turn up.
Oh, okay.
And the frame is there.
So you've actually made your own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I've done it multiple times and at home as well.
And I want to get
talk about that.
And I want to get onto your house in a tick too. So
yeah, that was leading in a lot of areas that had a decoupled slab.
Yeah, right.
So I really, really pushed the engineer hard. I went to their office and met with them. I said, I want to thermally break this whole slab.
And what was your motivation back then, right? So you obviously knew...
I think I started to understand it.
Yeah. Okay, so it's just about... And it was education off your own bat. So there's no tradesperson course, there was no social media, there's nothing about
simply
that.
Own research and talking to many, many people, leaders in the field, and just trying to compile it all together and listen to everything and then try and work it out.
Yeah.
What's the best way?
And was there modelling to kind of understand that back then, or was it just more intuitive?
We used Nathers.
Yeah. Okay.
Back then you didn't have to,
yeah.
but we did.
Did you use it as a costing tool as well then, or did you use it as a decision maker for performance?
Well, I don't think it actually drove the performance. The client and I drove the performance, and the client wanted it as high performing as possible. So the decoupled slab come from me later. So originally we designed in Hebel on top of the footings.
So you just built like the Hebel's the actual like structure?
Yeah, so the Hebel disconnected the footing, but I went further during the construction and asked the engineer, can I foam the whole lot and can remove all the bars and go straight over the top of the...
What's the compressive strength of Hebel?
Oh, it's quite... It's
quite. But yeah,
normally we put it under rammed earth walls.
Oh, wow, you've actually like shocked me. I didn't think it was that. I thought it was just aerated concrete cladding wasn't that
You can get the blocks, they're 200 by...
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Interesting.
That aren't reinforced, the blocks.
Yeah, I mean, because they've got an R rating because it's aerated concrete.
Yeah, it's not that great,
but it's enough for a thermal break.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we put 50mm foam, XPS foam under the
Yeah.
whole slab. The engineer made us get 450 kPa foam, which is
fucking mind-boggling.
because
Where'd you get that?
There was someone local. We imported it from Melbourne.
And do you think that was just them managing their risk
Yeah,
at the
of course,
time? Yeah,
of
okay.
course.
So because now, just for context, like the foam that we use now from DC Tech is 300 kPa.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, which is actually more than what you need.
Yeah, if you look at the ground, yeah.
Yeah. Was 150?
Yeah, 120, 150.
Yeah, at the bottom of a footing, strip footing, yeah.
I guess it does compress a little bit. But
Yeah. But you design in that compression, though.
Yes, you do,
The engineer will design in the compression. Yeah.
And it's spread out. Yeah, so we did have to put R10 dowel bars into the perimeter
Okay.
every 600. That was
That's not too bad.
That was the only...
Look, this I reckon decoupled slabs is a whole nother.
we don't have to now. Like,
No, we
that's
still had to tie.
Yeah,
last week we just tied down with cranked bars down into.
Depends.
Just depends on the soil classification.
All my soil was just like as bad as it gets.
Depends on soil classification and the appetite of the engineer.
Yes.
My theory on it is if
The weight should hold it down.
if your house is moving off that footing structure, then there's a whole bunch of other shit that's gone wrong.
Well,
The cog bars ain't going to do.
no, those restraint bars actually contribute to the slabs cracking because when it shrinks,
Correct, yeah.
it actually holds this, and it's got to give somewhere. So if it's just floating there, like the slabs when they're actually totally disconnected and sitting there, they don't really crack. It's very unusual. I've done so many of them that just sit there.
And we're talking, clutching at straws here, but you're trying to decouple the slab from the ground to reduce thermal bridges, and you're actually then putting thermal bridges into that slab by putting, and I know it's marginal.
Point thermal bridges.
Yeah.
But you can also use now the glass fiber bars.
You can,
Yes.
but
I've just done it on my whole. That's what I did on my house.
Yeah.
Did you find you had to bring them in from overseas though?
No, Madewell products supply them.
I know Madewell do them, but I know they're a special.
No, we didn't
order.
use cranked bars. We just made our own for our infill slab. We actually just used the glass fiber and made our own mesh, our own SL
yeah. So
too.
but yours is different. Yours is a slab over the top. So
Yeah.
You
But
can get the
you
crank.
could do that. You could do the same concept in
You can get the crank bars.
Yeah, you
but
can.
From
I
my
think
understanding, you got to bring them.
I think they are making them.
No, they are, but you just got to order them in.
Yeah, right.
They've just got the machines. So they're pretty sure from our shouldn't.
To crank them here.
Yeah, all right. Well, Madewell, if you want to come on as a sponsor for this podcast, then
So,
by
yeah,
all means,
anyway.
the 9-star home, was that your business, your building?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you're a builder, 9-star home. Early 2010, they've moved in.
Yeah.
At what point did you then drink the Kool-Aid for the whole passive house thing?
It was at that point that project won a few awards.
I'm surprised.
Best custom home in its price point, energy efficient home of the year in Tasmania, and then energy efficient home in Australia. It was at that point. We went to Sydney. There was a big fanfare event, and we won. We had some celebrities there as MCs, and they're looking at me. I was up against these massive businesses that are taking all these awards sponsored by New South Wales government, and the MCs going, so how many of you, is there of you, like, is your big team? And it's like, oh, no, I'm just a sole trader. Goes, really? He was just amazed that I was there, and we were finalists in quite a few other areas as well, and it was good. It made the Sydney Morning Herald.
Wow.
Yes, and then it was sort of like, Well, I've got the pinnacle. Where am
Yeah.
I going to go now?
Yeah.
Okay. So then I started researching, and then I found this thing called Passive House in Europe, and started doing a lot of research.
Geez, you would have gone
about
down
that.
a rabbit hole.
So that was like 2013.
Wow.
Wasn't much happening here. Claire Parry was doing some stuff. She was the founding
Of the
association.
And Harley Trong in 2014 built his.
Yeah, in Canberra.
Was he the first passive house, Harley?
No, there's one in Adelaide, I think. Might have been the
Adelaide,
first.
interesting, because like, there's not many passive
not
house.
many,
Yeah.
It's Kangaroo Flat or somewhere, or was that? It was around there.
Yeah.
I think the Wonthaggi one was the first one in
Victoria.
Victoria, I think.
Yeah.
They're really weird spots. You would have thought like there would have been, say, for example, one in like a Toorak or like a really big architect be like, let's just do something that hasn't been done before.
Do you know what? I'm actually not surprised that it was regional, because if you think about
It makes sense.
the idea of passive house is this kind of left field, kind of wacky, whatever kind of construction, which probably suits owner builders. So I feel like mainstream architecture is only starting to pick it up now.
Yeah.
And a lot of those early passive houses, geez, they were ugly buildings.
Yeah.
They weren't the nicest. I think that really hurt the passive house site movement for a while, where there was this probably misconception that you can't have a beautiful, sustainable building that's like healthy and efficient to live in and it look good.
Yeah, I mean, there's other things to think about too, like form as well is
Yeah.
a big thing in getting a certified building. So that does sometimes dictate the design. So it is harder on a interestingly designed home to meet certification. But back to you. So you've done the 9-star, you've got a bit of traction, you've found Passive House. If I'd like to, I always think of it like you found this religion.
It's been around for a while. So I got the PHPP, so I bought it from Germany, from Passive House Institute.
So did you know anyone that was using it at that time?
No, not really. I
You
think
should
Claire
teach
was,
yourself.
and there was a few people. So I just sort of got it, and then found that there was going to be this course coming up
Yeah.
with Box Hill.
Yep.
And there's an Irish trainer coming over.
Yeah.
So I registered for the designer course and paid for it.
Yep.
And some things happened at work, and I had to bail out of that. Didn't get a refund.
So you actually never went to the course.
So then I went to the tradesperson course,
Yeah.
and I took the guy who worked for me with me.
Yeah.
And ProClimate was offering a scholarship, and I was lucky enough that I won that. Did a submission and got a scholarship in the end. I actually did a deal with the guy who I was going with, saying, if you win, I win, we'll split it.
Yeah.
So
I
this is
won, so-
before you have a bigger relationship with ProClimate.
Yeah. So that's sort of where that's sparked.
Okay.
I was sitting in a hotel room in Melbourne because we had to come over and do the course
Yeah.
for a whole week, which was great because we hung out with the trainer because everyone else was from around here. And
Yeah.
so I was having a PHPP at the table after school, and I'm asking all these questions because I'm planning my home.
It's a one-on-one conversation. You got one-on-one training.
Yeah.
Where's
Who's
this
this
To
expert?
touch on this for a sec too, did you do, when you did your Passive House tradesperson course, was it in person or online?
It was in person, and I did mine with Burkhard at Box Hill TAFE, and I think the course that they offered then is vastly different to what's offered now.
It is vastly different, and I can understand why it switched to online because it's easier. However, I did the same course with Burkhard as well, right? And there is just something about sitting in a room with someone as passionate as Burkhard.
Yeah.
Everyone knows Burkhard.
I still think you can do it online.
Yeah.
I still think you can make it passion online. I just think the information that's taught and the care and the love that is taught isn't there anymore.
Oh, look, I'm gonna refrain comment on that because I haven't done the online course because I don't have any experience in it. But I just feel like being in person, like
Good connection.
us sitting
Yeah.
here right now, right, I think would get so much more out of than if we were doing this online.
Well, it's easy to communicate. You can talk to all the people that are there.
And I think
You
you,
get
can
to
pick up on,
network.
you pick up on cues as well from other people that you just kind of don't get online. And you try to online, but anyway.
Well,
I
it's funny
just did the designer course online, and it was so different, the experience compared to doing it in person.
Yeah.
With the tradesperson course, like it was, I can't even. The courses were so different, and I'm going to be careful what I probably say here. That
It's the first time that's
I know, but like
being careful about saying anything.
if you really want me to tell you what
No,
I
no,
think,
no,
I
no,
will.
no, I don't.
I think that the way that Burkhart taught us, and that he kind of just took you under his wing, and was like, "Hey,
charismatic.
I've got you.
Well, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to put my effort into
so
you.
passionate.
Like I'm going to teach you everything that I have." I feel like now it's more of a commercial agreement. Like we're going to teach you, and that's it. I think it's the passion's gone from it.
No, but okay. Totally digressing, and I do agree.
But you do get that when you're in the classroom.
Because I see
get
you,
that connection.
yeah, I see you and you're passionate, and we click, and we both can solve a problem together, and so then we keep in contact. And
yeah,
well, that's right. I guess who was sitting next to me in the first Passive House course?
True.
Devon behind me, asking me all these questions because he knew I was already doing this stuff. We're building one at the moment. We're implementing HRV and air barriers, and he's asking me all these questions, so many questions, and had the class clown. Stuart Lee.
Oh, you had Stewie there back then too.
He was hilarious. He was absolutely the clown of the class. He was absolutely hilarious, asking funny questions, and he got it. I was there thinking, this guy, he's not going to get it. And he was a bit negative to start with, and then he got it in the class, and it's like, yeah, that's it. But I still thought, and look where he's gone now.
I want to touch on that for a second because I reckon I had a very similar moment too. So I found out about Passive House through Sven from Max Design. Literally went online that night, booked the course, which just happened to be in 2 weeks' time, and I kind of went into it really green, not really knowing what Passive House was. Within 5 minutes of sitting in there, the penny just dropped. And it sounds like you had the same moment. Stewie had the same moment.
Yeah.
Devon's obviously had the same moment as well. It just fucking makes sense.
So that's maybe where I don't give credit to the course now, is the pennies already dropped through things like social media for so many people. When we did it, that was it. Like, this was this new thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's the hot, sexy, I don't know what this is, I'm learning. Now there's so much information through what we all put out that you go into this course kind of already knowing enough.
Yeah, interesting. So there's not that kind of like dopamine hit.
It was
when I came home.
Yeah.
And in the plane going, it's just changed my life.
It had the same
on the way home in the plane I'm changed.
I canned within, I think, 2 weeks. I actually canned a job. I was like, I'm not building this way anymore. I went full cold turkey.
Yeah,
and I was like, that's the way like our brains work. We're just like, we're just going to do it.
Literally pivot. I was that way, and then I was that way without question.
I stayed out there because ours was out in
I was in Lilydale.
Lilydale, yes, which is like an hour and a bit from here. Lilydale, and so I actually stayed out there for a hotel for 2 days because I had the exam and I wanted to study, and I was like, I remember I was watching a TV series at the time, and I just was like, I really want to finish the series. I was loving it, but I could not stop reading about it. Yeah, I was just like so consumed about building, and it was the first time I felt that's like, why aren't we being taught this from?
It just makes sense.
Yeah,
it just makes sense. So from there, you were already designing, or you were already building a Passive House?
I was designing a high performance house to myself, which looks nothing like it does now. I was designing a jelly bean, essentially, with a compound curve roof.
Okay.
And then because that's
why you were designing a jelly bean.
Because I used to do projects that were very difficult, I guess, technically complex.
I don't like to make your life.
So I did a compound curve roof.
Out of what?
Well, we actually had to build it. I had to lay the steel because there was a box gutter all around it. And it's sort of compound curved. We had to lay 20 by 20 steel and actually fabricate this compound curve.
So hang on, you built this, or you were?
That was before. So
Yeah,
and then we cut it off at 45, and it looked like a wave breaking as you drove up to it. And it was all curved, double glazed glass.
Wow.
Is that your house?
No.
Oh.
This is one I did. So this is where I got the bubble and the jelly bean, and realised this is ridiculous. I'm never going to be able to afford this, even building it myself, and I'm going to take 10 years building it. So I went and designed something that more look like an eagle shape.
And this house that you built now is a certified passive house in Tassie, and it's CLT or mass timber?
No, that's another job that I did.
Okay.
What haven't you done?
I'll do anything.
Yeah, but like you've got such a good experience. I feel like
we're going to keep talking for ages.
I feel like the point you are at your career there and where I'm at, like you've done so much more than what. Like you've got such good experience in so many different facets of construction.
I love a challenge. I thrive at a challenge.
So, and this is interesting because I am going to touch on mental health and I'm going to touch on well-being because, and it's been no secret that I've gone through my own sort of challenges over time, and I, as I learn about myself, I understand why I am who I am, diagnosed ADHD, diagnosed anxiety disorder. I get dopamine off putting myself in situations that are challenging, and I get really fucking bored when things are easy. And it kind of sounds like you're very
like a sucker for pain.
Yeah, but I am.
Yeah,
I love
that's right.
But I love
exactly.
problem solving. But so your home that you live in now, certified passive house, off grid.
Yeah.
And I remember chatting with you last week, and you were like, I think I said the same thing as what you did. You can't put your finger on what it's like to live and be in a passive house, but it just feels different, and your life is different, and you feel healthier and comfortable. And like you're now living in this home that's a certified building. What was your out changes?
The result was 0.14.
Yeah, okay.
0.14.
Yeah.
So you're the one that screwed up all the original data.
Well, no, we didn't put that one in. That was not. You're referring back to CSIRO.
Yeah, where
that was my. I had 3 others that went in there. I didn't realise it was chasing averages of what the homes are in each state, and it's like all the most airtight buildings were done in Tasmania.
And you screwed
Tasmania,
all
so
that.
we don't need to do anything in Tasmania because they're already building tight houses.
Yeah,
but it was just you.
Well, Sean Maxwell always said I screwed the results in Tasmania.
So you go.
I was just going to say, because there was a point, so you built your own certified passive house, you're off grid, like you feel like you're happier, but you probably weren't.
Yeah,
Or there was something about building that kind of wasn't.
Well, because I guess I'm hands-on.
Yeah.
I'm a micromanager.
So you're on the tools as a builder now, bag on the whole time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Up until towards the end, where I just simply couldn't. Obviously, I was running another business.
Which is PHCP.
Yeah.
PHCP, which we'll touch on.
Yeah. And it was pretty busy, but building was taking up 80% of my time, and I lost a lot of sleep for years. And that's just because I care and we care. That's how builders, how we are. Some that don't. Sometimes I wish that I didn't. But
Yeah.
Do you think people don't understand that about what we do? That there's this misconception that they just rock up, get there at 7 o'clock, build a house, go home at 3 p.m. That's it.
Oh, there is that. I was talking to someone yesterday, and she said, "Well, you're the sort of person I'd want building my home." Or that, apart from your mental health and you can't sleep and you're personally attached to this project, that's who I want building my home. And I get that. That's who I'd want building my home too.
There's so much anxiety around building that I can say that the amount of times you go home and you're still thinking about it, you wake up in the middle of the night thinking about did I allow enough for that? Construction prices are going up.
Or
This
that
is an issue.
moment going, oh, did I?
Yeah.
Like I had that the other day. I got on site. I was like, I didn't able flex around the block work for the decoupled slab. So I've had to send 3 of my team there while the client's there for an on-site meeting. We had to run around putting able flex around the whole outside to allow for expansion. That your brain does not stop as a builder.
But you got to the point where you decided not to be a builder anymore.
I tried to separate myself from site because obviously managing the red tape and all that goes with that of being a builder.
Yeah.
Essentially, that just the one job at a time really doesn't exist anymore because there's so much challenges, banks, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I tried to distance myself and leave it to the site, but every time I go to site, there's things that I was trying to look the other way.
Like what examples?
Well, it was fine, and everyone go, that's okay, but it's not okay. If, I used to make the tradesmen, when we used to do decks, for instance, I'd make them turn the Phillips head screws all in the same direction, and they'd do that by hand. Door hinge screw, they've got to be all right.
I mean, as the owner, the client...
Well, they don't give a shit.
Well,
No,
but they're just like...
Someone
oh my
will
God,
see it one day.
This builder, oh my God. But that was literally doing your head in.
Yeah, and thank God for torque head screws,
What? You can't see. You can't see.
No, imagine the stars and it's making sure they're all now there's instead of the 4 points on a Phillips head, now you've got the 7 or 8. It's are they all?
And did the team ever oh, I'm going to fuck Justin today?
Yeah,
I'm gonna turn it down.
everyone's yes, that happened a lot.
But yeah, so I mean, and we're laughing about it, but this was having a severe impact on you and your mental well-being.
Not that I personally knew it at the time because I was just going for it. I was essentially a workaholic, and if I wasn't at work, I was feeling guilty.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah,
I get that.
So there was a year where, a whole year where it was a minimum 70 hours was a light week.
Was that when you're building your own house?
No, this is on site.
So when you're building your own house, going back a little bit, were you more sort of addicted to work then because it's your own? I'm living in this.
Well,
this has to be
we
even more.
spend every single weekend there, as everyone does.
Or did you step back a bit, being like, it's my house, I can live with that not being lined up with the deck screws. I can live with that not being perfect. It's just clients' houses. You were more, it has to be a...
I did let go a little bit with mine. Clients' houses, no, I can't do that because that's me.
Do you know what? I actually feel the same way. Like my wife shakes her head at, particularly with our past home. Our house is a bit different now, but our past home, she's like, how can you do what you do every single day at work and you demand such a high level of finish every single day at work and your projects run pretty well every single day at work, but you can't fucking fix up that half a dozen things that have been sitting there for the last 12 months.
Or why can't you put that thing back in the pantry in its spot?
It's interesting when it's your own home, right? Because you would think, and I know it's ironic because my clients' homes, like that's my reputation, that's my brand, that's everything. Whereas my own home, I kind of feel like I can just let it go.
It doesn't matter so much.
It doesn't matter, yeah.
And it just sits there. The list sits there.
Is there one thing that you've done for a client that you've sat there and still to this day is like, I wish I'd like it just still eats you alive a little bit? Is there one thing that just
great question.
You just like you're waiting for the call of something or that wasn't right?
Yeah, it's a recent job and it's a CLT job. We were going for certification. Essentially got to the end. Everything was done. Everything was submitted, but we got picked up on technicality, and I raised it initially. So the owners didn't want a certified passive house. They knew I was building it.
Yep.
Getting what they were
paying
for. And I flagged a skylight. We had a triple glaze roof light. It was quite a large one. It was 4.5 metres by 3.5 metres or something.
Yeah, custom made in Australia.
With 6 panels. Shit. So the plan had St Lucia Suite, unthermally broken section with all these spaces to get the 50mm glass in. And I said, this is not going to be okay. We've got
from a passive house point of view?
Thermal bridge. I was researching section. I tried to get the Unilux curtain wall section so we could get that over and make it, but then they wouldn't guarantee it off vertical.
Yeah.
So even though it was 30 degrees, I said no. I said, okay. So I talked to Andreas from Rayco.
Yeah.
And he said he'd provide the section. But obviously it was expensive. The owners didn't want a certified passive house and they thought it was okay, and it didn't really get past that stage. I pushed and that was it. At the end it undid it. It didn't meet the thermal bridge calculation.
But it still works. The house is perfect.
Well, yeah, it still works. PHI said electrify the aluminium to heat it up. That's a solution. We couldn't get power to it because you can warm it up to get it above the dew point.
I did not know.
Have you ever monitored to see if it does have an issue?
It's too high.
Because it could be
7 metres in the air.
Okay, this is great, right? There's the theoretical certification, right, that everyone is going for, that nice plaque on the wall. But I'm always interested in the lived-in experience. So those clients, yes, you know that it's not a certified home. Yes, you know you could have done some things to that particular skylight, but do the clients love living in the house?
Well, that they have a certified passive house.
So the house is perfect.
It just didn't.
So they get
tripped up right at the end. Everything was there. It was disappointing.
But you didn't fail. You didn't fail the certification because you were never going for it.
No,
right?
No. Correct. We didn't fail it,
and
we just didn't meet it,
and it wouldn't change anything of the lived experience at all.
And that's what I was kind of getting at. And look, from my understanding of the way the PHPP works, the skylights are kind of a bit of a anyway.
Yeah,
that's.
But you probably fit in with PHI low energy certification.
No, this one doesn't.
Yeah, because you
failed the thermal bridge.
Yeah, you fail.
It's like comfort. It's like the Baldor test.
You fail the comfort criteria.
Mold.
Yeah,
it's the mold.
So maybe
mold potential.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
It'd be really interesting to see if you could monitor that, and then in say 7-8 years, be like, no, there's still no mold, and they then can't be like, no, you're okay now.
It's anecdotal. They wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I know, but it's like I think this is where sometimes it goes a little bit too far. Like, is that going to change?
Well, yeah, I guess they do go. They're rigid. They've got their process. They made me do a thermal bridge calculation on my house, on my curtain wall glazing in the middle, and I said that it's going to be a negative thermal bridge, and they said I still had to do it anyway. So it improved the PHP because it was. It was actually an improvement.
Yeah.
The thermal bridge, but I knew that.
Yeah.
But they said no, you have to do it. So it's very rigid.
Yeah.
It was okay.
Which I think is a good thing, right? I think it needs to be rigid.
They also made me sign a waiver on the curtain wall too because they didn't like it.
Is that? Do you want to talk about that curtain wall?
No.
Why?
He doesn't want to talk about it. He's going to do his head in. So do you
know why?
No, I don't know why. No,
I remember nearly vomiting because I put the panes in, the 350 kilos, put the panes in with my excavator. I welded a crane off the end of my excavator so I'd get the sucker bank down lower. And I only had like 20 mil tolerance to bring it in over a deck and under the 2.5 metre eave.
Slips in.
with an excavator?
Yes.
Okay.
I built a road in front of it. But yeah, we had to rotate this pane, and then one of the neighbour helped me as well, and he said, it's slipping. I had the front of the excavator. I nearly vomited out of the front of the excavator. I could just see it was one of the biggest ones, and I could just see it. He said it's slipping, but it was rotating a little bit. And it's slipping. It's going to be on the ground. It's going to be broken. Oh no! So I literally nearly vomited. I just went pale. I felt sick. I was just about to vomit. And they go, no, it's okay. So yeah, we finally got all that in, and then I was sick for 2 months after that because it was a build-up to work out how to actually do it. It was months of planning, trying to work out actually how cranes couldn't lift in under the roof.
I remember you telling me this story. It was me, you, and Air Boss Dan were grabbing dinner, actually, and your wife, and we ended up. I said to my wife Nicole, I was going to be home at. I'll go for dinner at 5:30. I'll be home by about 7. I think it was 1 a.m. She's like, "You coming home?"
Right.
And I've got. We're still talking.
So
you told me this.
So it's an interesting thing to touch on, like your physical response to that stress and the build up, and obviously it impacted you for a couple of months afterwards. Is this the reason why you don't physically build anymore?
It has damaged my health, and that Vanessa stood by me for so long, being the way that I am.
And she's a nurse, is that correct?
Yeah.
Do you think that's the caring nature that I feel nurses just have?
I think so. She's very caring. She's very calm. She's the glue in the family.
Yeah.
I think she just goes, oh, well, okay, that's fine. We'll work it out.
And how are you now?
Good now.
Yeah.
When I left or finished work, I had a job that fell through. It was going to be a certified passive house, designed by Envirotecture.
Oh yeah.
And I was just about to turn ground, and essentially the bank made it too difficult, and they sort of said we're canning it, we're going to redesign it, and I'm out.
When was this?
This was 2 years ago.
Yeah, right. And you're just like, I'm done
ago.
with building.
Yeah, so that's it. I'm done. So I found employment for staff.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was over, feeling pretty washed up. Thinking,
But you still have performance membranes going, or PHCP.
yeah, but I'm, I guess, a craftsman, and that's my identity. And I felt like I lost my identity because I'm not doing that anymore.
That's a really interesting point, isn't it? Because it's probably be interesting conversation to have with Devon as well. Because I identify as a builder.
Me too, still do.
And as much as
when someone asks you what do you do for work, what do you say?
Well, I get offended when people go, "Oh, you're the rep for ProClimber," and it's like I get so offended, and they go, "Why aren't you answering me?" Because I'm struggling to answer it.
Yeah.
Because I'm a builder. I'm not a sales rep. ProClimber has always been the vehicle for me to get to where I want to go with the built environment, and that is to change the building industry.
Do you love where you are now? Do you love the space that you are, what you're doing right now?
The relief when I did stop building was it was amazing. It was just this whole weight lifted off my shoulders.
Yeah.
With no stress. That stress had gone. Continuously was there. But yeah, I really struggled after it. Had some serious problems, and sort of that whole perfectionism really came out after I finished work. I think work was an outlet for that.
Yeah, okay.
and it was seriously a little bit of a mental problem.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it all spilled out into home then.
Yeah.
So no one could do anything at home. No one could do anything right.
Oh, because you were wanting to control the scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
really
no one could do anything right. And if
yeah.
someone would do it, I was go, that's not right. And it really became a problem, so I had to seek some help.
Yeah, well, good. You know what? Good on you for seeking help. And I know a little bit of the story, and I feel like we could.
I think we got to get. I think it's a whole other podcast. That
we have to talk for hours, but yeah, and I'd actually love to get you back on to unpack it if you're willing to talk about it, because I think it is important. And if you don't want to, that's totally fine.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I guess there's a lot of these stories about this, and I think is it just trendy talking about it? I don't know, because it was that point where I've been like it for years, for decades, and it didn't exist, or I thought, no, that's not me.
Does it all make sense
I'd be
now?
weak. And someone that I worked for had a mental breakdown. And I go, what is wrong with them? It must be like a chemical thing.
Yeah,
like,
can't they just
be something wrong with their brain.
Yeah.
And then obviously I'm having these struggles, and then it all just blew up with anxiety.
Yeah.
And that was obviously overworked.
Yeah.
Exhausted and anxiety. I couldn't answer a phone. I just totally lost it. Went to ground. Just nearly had a nervous breakdown, I guess. So it does exist, and it does affect you, and affects everyone around you, more importantly.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah, you and I have touched on that before as well, like the impact, because you can live in your own bubble. I know I experience this sometimes, and even recently I live in my own bubble and operate in my own head, and I lose track, and it sounds like you have as well, of how that's impacting the people that are around you and the people that are closest to you.
Mm.
The trendy thing I can understand, like there's so many more people getting diagnosed on the spectrum or ADHD or whatever, but I think it's just we have much more of an understanding of it now. And I think it's good that we're recognising this, because then it allows us to have the tools to be able to then approach life. Because like I had the privilege of coming down to an open house last week that Matt O'Grady put on. And I think this is a nice way to kind of round out this conversation. I see the impact that you have had on Matt's life, and I look at how motivated Matt is now to then help educate the industry. That's because of you. Like, you've done that, and I think that's something you should be incredibly proud of. And I looked at that captured audience of 60 plus people in that room, so engaged with that event that you helped facilitate, and the impact that that's going to have as those people go and permeate out in their own spaces around them. Like, that is so much bigger than you building 3 or 4 high performance or passive houses a year.
So I have written down here, and
mentor, yeah.
So from my perspective of where I sit now, you would be in the top probably 3 people from that journey, from when I first did that course to where I am now, as someone I look up to, go to for questions. Like, I don't think I probably never told you that. I would say that you are that for so many people. That
I don't think others ring me as much as you do.
Yeah, I know, but you have this ability just to, I know that you go back to being perfectionist and everything. You're actually so humble, calm.
Yeah.
It's kind of ironic.
But you've got to share.
You have to share.
Yeah.
And I think you seeing this in Matt and his ability and his thirst to educate. He's actually realising that he doesn't want to be a builder anymore.
He's not a gatekeeper.
He doesn't want to be a builder anymore because he wants to educate.
Yeah.
And he's and I think the more and more people out there that are doing it, it's almost like selfless. They're like, no, I want to see the industry get better, so I want to be there helping educate people. Like, there's no keeping it close to their chest anymore. Like, I feel like even just the 3 of us sitting here now, 3 builders sitting here doing the same kind of thing, the fact that we live 20 odd kilometres away from each other and yet we're doing this to try and help better the industry, like, that didn't exist when you got back into this 20 years ago.
No, it was difficult. You used to have to ask groups to, put a message out when they meet. I had about 300 people over the course of 2 years through home. People fly over from Sydney, New South Wales,
Wow.
Victoria. to go through. It's because it was essentially wrapped in Proclimate on the outside and the inside for a whole year with no cladding and no plaster.
How'd that 180 days stand up?
Well, I don't know. I could take some out and test it.
I'm going to say it's fine.
I had all confidence in the product, and you could say, it's in Tasmania, and
I've sat mine out longer.
But yeah, I think the west facade copped it a fair bit. The UV is pretty high, so but it's a fantastic product. So I had no problems with that. It was the first wall that I covered.
So you now run a company called PHCP in TAS and also partners in Performance Membrane. So, we obviously want to give you guys a massive prop and a shout out because, all our projects are completely wrapped in these products. So to round this out, what is it that you guys do now at Performance Membranes?
Well, we're innovators in the industry and we want to change the industry through education and knowledge sharing. That's, I guess, our vision.
I love how you answer that question with that because at the end of the day, you guys sell product, but you've chosen to answer that in a way of
why.
Through education, the why. I love that.
Yeah, and that's what it is about. Like I say before, the products of the vehicle.
Yeah.
To get the message out there.
I love that the motivation is not selling product.
I've got one final question before we wrap this up. Are you proud of where you are now?
Well, yeah, I guess I don't look at it like that. I like to sort of hide in the background and connect the dots and put everyone together and connect people. That's what I like to do. I like to stand back and you won't hear me talking, which is a disappointment to me because I know how much I've got to share.
Yeah.
To one-on-one, no problem, stand up in front of 100 people or just sort of, I did it last week. I probably dribbled on. I took a blood pressure tablet before I stood up there, about an hour before, and probably made me talk too much. I was talking about a boring subject, but
you were talking about ventilation.
If you stop tomorrow building, and if you stopped doing membranes tomorrow, are you proud of what you've done in this industry?
Well, yeah.
Good.
But there's so much more to do. There's so much
I
more work
love
to
that.
do.
But sit in the moment for a second, Justin. Just sit in the moment for a second.
Yeah, I think sometimes we don't stop and just go, you know what? I've done some pretty cool shit.
Yeah.
I've made this place a better place.
And the impact you guys are having from Performance Membranes. I know Performance Membranes is much bigger than you, but you are like the impetus of it, and just the impact that's having nationally now is pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty special. And it's always what I wanted.
Yeah.
To have a whole bunch of builders as a network, as a team.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of builders, a group, friends, to be able to share and help each other. That was always my dream, was to have this network like Proclimate do in New Zealand, where they have all these groups of builders network and they're all together, and that's what I wanted, this knowledge sharing.
Yeah.
And there's still a bit to do in that. We are doing it, and yes, we're only just scraping the surface, I think.
Yeah, 100%. And I love it. I'm going to finish on that because we are just scraping the surface, I think.
Thank you very much for joining us, Justin.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me in.
Cheers.
Cheers.